All right, you are looking live at New Jersey Governor Chris Christie in Manchester, New Hampshire. He, along with Governor Kasich of the fine state of Ohio, are really battling for that final one or two positions, whatever you want to call it, to see whether they make the top 10 cutoff for Thursday's big debate here on Fox News. Right now, it's too close to call, but roughly 24 hours from now, we might have a better idea. In fact, we might know. Right now, we do not. But those two are campaigning furiously to keep their names out there, the recognition out there, and in the smattering of polls that will still be conducted between now and then to make it into the 9th and 10th poll positions for the Thursday night debate. All right, let's focus on what's also going to be happening in the next hour or so. The United States Senate is going to take up a measure to defund Planned Parenthood. Of course, you've seen and heard a lot of the videos. You haven't had a chance to see some of the more gruesome parts. I have, but bottom line, that did get out through YouTube and other venues that have really changed pro-life and pro-choicers alike. And it's not just a Republican effort to defund this thing. A number of Democrats, including my next guest, are saying enough is enough. This is going too far. With me right now, West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who will indeed vote against funding for Planned Parenthood later on. Senator, good to have you back with us.
Good to be with you, Neil.
So this is something that flies in the face of many in your party who say, well, whatever its problems and ills and controversies that were generated through these videos, it does a lot of good. It should be funded. You say no.
Well, Neil, I represent the good people of West Virginia, and I can tell you this is most troubling. This is disturbing. It's absolutely unacceptable, unconscionable, and there's no way I can continue to vote and support. You know, the Hyde Amendment is supposed to keep everything separated. We want to make sure that every woman in West Virginia has access to care, and we do. There was only one Planned Parenthood over in Wood County in West Virginia, so our state has a good network of taking care of our women and the needs of the women in West Virginia. We'll make sure that continues, and hopefully we can support the funding that would come from defunding Planned Parenthood into other health rights, free clinics that we can help women all around the country.
All right, but as things stand now, you would opt to defund it. Now, there are many, the president said, Josh Earnest, speaking for the president, has said, you know, these might have been doctored tapes, that they're strung together to give the impression that, you know, Planned Parenthood is doing even illegal, if not illicit things. What convinced you that this was the turning point?
Well, Neil, all of that. You know, I was always disturbed. I've been pro-life all my life. It's the way it's how I was raised. It's, you know, not my religion, nothing except basically I'm a product of my environment, and that's who we all are. And I was raised in a family that life is a gift and it's special, and you do everything humanly possible you can to protect it, and rejoice when you get a gift from God that and this beautiful, beautiful child, and you know, so that's who we are. But we always had incest, rape, and life of the mother conditions, and it's been a very tough thing. It's a personal thing, and everyone has to make a personal choice on this. I had voted when I first got here in the Senate to continue the funding for Planned Parenthood because of the Hyde Amendment. I did not see how they had crossed the funds over, but this goes far and beyond what I can accept, and I will not, and I will vote to defund.
All right, do you think if they were indeed selling these fetus parts and dismembered parts for money, until that is a crime?
Neil, if you looked at the videos, Neil, they even admitted. I mean, they were asking the two top officials. One was asking, what are you used to paying? What is your usual price? So they were putting prices. I mean, I've called for a full investigation. I believe a full investigation needs to be done on criminal activity. But with that being said, I only have one vote today. Do I vote to continue funding or to defund? And I will vote to defund because of that.
All right. Very quickly, Senators, you know the president has already said that's not what, that every expectation he would veto such a measure. And then you're back to square one because the votes aren't in the Senate to override such a veto.
I mean, you know, we continue, but it still doesn't excuse you from doing the right thing. In my heart, I know what I'm doing is the right thing. I feel right about what I'm doing. I feel I'm representing not just the people of West Virginia, but I represent my own values too. And it's just one of those things. It should not be a Democrat or Republican. How everything becomes so political. You know, we all have our moral conscience, our moral beliefs. We all have our ideological positions. And we're going to vote and support that. And I represent some great people in the state of West Virginia who expect me to make an independent decision. I make that decision. I'll cast that vote, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure an investigation takes place. Now, it needs to take place. DOJ needs to be involved.
All right, now you
and
talk
this is
about
one
the great
time we're
people
going to
of
call
West.
for them.
I'm sorry, sir. You talk about the great people of West Virginia. You also come from a big coal mining state. A lot of your citizens and those who work in the coal industry feel that they are being targeted by this push on the part of the president to really crack down on emission standards and try to hack them by better than 30% through 2030. They say it's going to cost a lot of jobs in your state. How do you feel about this?
Well, Neil, basically it already has cost a lot of jobs and a lot of heartache in my state. It's brought unbelievable economic hardship, and it's been devastating. Now, with that being said, and I listened to the president's speech today, and he was saying, well, you know, the people that are saying it's going to cost jobs, that never come true. I would say, Mr. President, come to West Virginia and look at what happened in West Virginia and what's happening. Then they say that if that didn't happen, why are they trying to offer transitional money, trying to help people that lost their jobs? You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say you don't acknowledge anyone's lost their jobs with all these changes that the EPA is implementing, and on the other hand say we're going to offer you assistance. That doesn't make sense at all. Neil, on top of that, even the president and his EPA is in disagreement, I guess, with their own Department of Energy. They're going to be needing coal as a base load through 2030, 2040. And what they're doing now is just absolutely destroying the whole base load of the grid system that we've come to depend upon. And if they would just work with us, you can't put targets and triggers out there based on what criteria you want to hit as far as emissions when you don't have the science or the technology, and nothing's been invested for finding the new technology to make it happen. So I've said if it's unreasonable and it's unattainable, then it's undoable. And this is exactly what they're doing. It just makes no sense at all.
All right, Senator Manchin, good seeing you again. I know you have a crazy schedule
you too, Neil.
today.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And again, on the EPA vote, keep in mind the Supreme Court said that the EPA must consider the cost to businesses, whatever decisions it makes. And many have been challenging the EPA decision and the administration's move today on that. All right, separately, Donald Trump says he tries to pay as little as possible in taxes. And you would think if he were Ebenezer Scrooge, he might be many, many things. But first of all, Ebenezer Scrooge did not look remotely like Donald Trump, if you think about it. We'll have more after this.